¿Qué tal, amigos? Les habla Obi Rosales de Eleva. Today is a special day. We got Robb McCormick, some guy named Rob, and maybe your children, tal vez sus hijos lo conozcan. He goes to school sometimes, corporate events, and just does music all the time, which I'm probably a little jealous because I'm a musician myself, but I don't get to do music all the time like you. So I'm hoping one day, pretty soon, I can do that. But before we go forward, I want to tell everyone watching today that today's podcast is sponsored by Dog Ear Books and Retro Roast, where you can go buy a book and you can buy like a frappe. I don't know much about coffee, but like something coffee, and I hear it's great. I still have to go try the one that was recommended to me, and also sponsored by Diamond Ridge Construction. Hey, we had a storm the other day. If you're a little bit iffy about your roof, give them a call, and they will get you situated. All right, let's get to it. A toda la raza que está viendo en español, el día de hoy vamos a estar hablando en inglés, así que si no entienden algo, pónganlo en los comentarios y ahí le trataremos de responder. What I'm saying is if you guys are watching, my fellow peeps that watch in Spanish, if you guys have any questions, you don't understand what we're talking about, put it on the comments and we'll try to help you out. So, all right, let's get into it. Rob, so how are you doing today?
I'm great, Obi. Thanks for having me.
Sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, thanks for having me. And I'm jealous because you speak two languages beautifully.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously, man. That's I try. I'm trying to learn
Yeah.
Spanish and even French. I took French when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And I went to France actually too.
Wow.
I played a little bit, and one of the things was they really want you to just try. And so I've just it's just beautiful to hear you speak so eloquently.
Thank you, man. It was a mission, because my story is the first 5 years of my life, I was taught Spanish.
Uh-huh.
They throw me in a kindergarten, then I'm figuring things out through third, fourth grade. I'm like, I need to learn some English. Then when I was in my teens, 15, 16, I had forgotten a lot of the Spanish. It was just broken.
Yeah.
And then I started doing music in Spanish,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
what helped me.
Yeah.
And traveling to Mexico and,
Right.
and them telling me, why do you have an accent? Or actually, I was like, how can I get on stage and sound like broken Spanish?
Right.
So then I started watching movies. I started looking at Spanish artists, how they talk, and then I kind of...
Wasn't Selena kind of like that? She was
Yeah,
raised
yeah,
and
Texas, and she had
to
like the
learn
broken
through music.
Spanish,
Yeah.
and I mean, you got to be careful with that because sometimes your own people will be like, you're fake, you're a poser, So
Yeah.
I had to really be careful the way I...
Well, you got it, man.
Thank you.
Congrats. That's what I'll aspire to be so fluent one day.
Yeah, you will. You will. You just got to keep doing it. I mean, I tell people to watch Spanish soap operas.
Yeah.
Ramón, ¿por qué?
¿Cuándo?
¿Cuándo? ¿Con él? Like, no lo puedo creer.
¿Qué pasa? I've got it.
¿Qué pasa aquí? So, I mean, I think you will learn if you watch Spanish soap. I recommend Marimar or, that's the one I watched back in the early 90s, Marimar. Marimar. I'll text you the
all right,
link.
do it.
You can actually watch it on. They already have all the episodes. I actually watched the first episode a few weeks ago, and I was like, did I just watch this whole episode?
Obi, you're gonna get me addicted to Spanish soap operas now.
Yeah.
What happened to Ramon?
I know. ¿Qué pasó con Ramón? So, hey, if anybody's watching and you want to suggest any Spanish soap opera titles, go ahead and post them so we can give them to Rob, So
Help me learn.
So tell us about yourself. Like, let's go a little bit back in the past, Back to the Future?
Back to the Future,
That's
yeah.
different, right? How did all this start? Like, you're from Russellville?
Yeah, I'm from. This is my hometown, and I've grown up here. Traveled far, and then come back and just loved. I love Russellville. I love our community. So when I was a kid, I loved music. I think most kids probably do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're just drawn to it. And then growing up in the 80s where you had all these amazing, it was very pop-centric and rock and roll-centric.
Yeah.
And so...
who were your favorite artists?
Oh, my
80s
goodness.
favorite artists?
Growing up young, it had to be whatever was on the radio. Just I'm trying to.
Journey was probably
What
on
Journey
there.
was on there. I mean, it just
Queen, Michael Jackson.
you can definitely all those artists put. Yeah, so many. When someone says, "What's your favorite artist?" I'm like, I have 50. I'm ready to name you. So it's, but yeah, I was influenced by every artist I heard, and I still am. I still love hearing new music, and yeah.
So what did you pick up? I mean, do you play just the guitar or other instruments?
Oh, when I was 5, I started. My sister started piano lessons, so I thought, well, I got to do that too. So I started playing piano, and I did that for a little while, and kind of got the basics down, the rudiments. And then when I was 14, I noticed that if you had a guitar, then girls would talk to you. So
You're
I
like,
begged
need
my
a
parents
guitar.
for a guitar. Interesting thing, I'm left-handed. You know, I write with my left hand, always have, and my dad is left-handed. You know, and he bought me a right-handed guitar, and I wondered why. I was like, Dad, you're left-handed. This was years and years go by, and I asked him, like, you're left-handed. I'm left-handed. They make left-handed guitars. Why didn't you buy me a left-handed guitar? And he said, oh, they were more expensive. And he's like, I didn't actually think you were going to play it.
That's
So
funny.
I was like, okay, well, maybe I would have been better. If I had, no, but it all worked out. He's been, and actually his musical influences, he was a DJ back in the 1960s.
Wow.
And so he I grew up with all these vinyl records around me, and everything from the doo-wop bands and the the chiffons, the charons, the OJs, the Temptations, the Midnight, all these amazing Motown hits, and then, I mean, just really, I'm blessed to have a rich musical heritage. That's why I don't understand like appropriation, because when you really start chasing back the concept of musical appropriation, everybody is stealing from everybody, and everybody's so influenced by everybody. Gladys Knight and the Pips have influenced me more than, name some artist of the same. Yeah, so it's interesting to me that we shouldn't fight about things like that. Music is a gift from God. So,
Yeah, it is. It's like a universal language.
Absolutely.
I believe it is, because
Absolutely.
you can listen to any tune in any language, and just the melody can hit you like, whoa, that's like, that touched me, right? But you don't understand what they're saying, but you can feel the sound and the melody and all that stuff. I like those tunes that make you like, whoa, that just hit the spot,
Yeah.
So.
I was in Kansas City last year performing, and what I love, you said universal language. That's how I describe music too. And it was a Folk Alliance International conference. So we had probably 4,000 artists coming in from all over the world to meet here. And I got to go from room to room and experience a Russian traditional folk group, and then go to the next room and you would see some guy playing an upright bass and a saxophone from New Orleans. And I mean, it was almost a heavenly experience going from room to room. And they had 3 hotel floors full of these musicians that were performing room to room. And I ended up getting to perform with Noel Paul Stuckey from Peter, Paul and Mary, a group in the 1960s that did Puff the Magic Dragon and This Land Is Your Land. They were part of the early folk movement. I ended up getting to perform with him. He's 86 years young, still just a phenomenal musician and just a super generous guy with his time and very kind. So I love that music takes you different places and physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the heart of music for me is, you know how like music paves the way.
Yeah.
If you're about to get married, you want a certain kind of music. You want something that's going to speak to you. If you're entering into worship with God and you just need to commune with the Creator, then you want to feel something in that moment, and music brings you to that place. It's
an incredible tool.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have a bad morning. I go to my go-to song. I put it on, and I'm like, it changes me, because it's just like I'm telling you, the notes, the melodies, what it's saying. I mean, for the last 2 weeks, I've been going back to some old Christian hymns from the 90s that I grew up with, kind of like, but modern. It was like Christian, but they were trying to put in some funk elements, some R&B, and I've been jamming to that, and it's just been taking me back into my teens and everything. So
Yeah.
it's healing, at
Yeah,
least for me.
that's what I encourage people whenever they are hurting. You know, a lot of times, I actually just the other day, someone posted on social media, and they're like, "I'm so angry right now, and I don't know what to do." And I said, create art, like from your frustration and your pain, and whether it's music, whether it's sculpture, whether it's just do something. Even if you break something, put it back together in a different way. You know, find some way to. 'Cause I think that's part of being created is that we need to create. There's something
Yeah.
like what we're doing right now is we're creating something, you
Yeah.
know, and so
I mean, you don't even know the rush I get just being here and just
Yeah.
doing this. Like I walk in here, I'm like, wow, like I'm in the zone. So
Right.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
yeah, that's good. And what happens whenever people share their frustrations or their pain or even their joy and their triumphs and successes, it allows other people, it opens the door where other people can say, yeah, that's how I feel, you know, or like you said this morning, it's how I want to feel. You know, I want to feel like that, and you put that music, and it paves the way for
Yeah.
you to feel like that. So
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, music is a great tool. Like, I mean, baby showers, for services, for
I mean, before a
even the
football game,
walkout. Yeah, the football
yeah,
games. You
boom,
know,
boom, ch,
yeah.
boom, ch, yeah.
We will.
That's right.
That's right. You know, so
You don't want to mix it up though. You don't want to put the wedding music before the football game. And the
Uh-huh.
football, I mean, you might. I don't know. It depends on the people you're marrying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's probably some people. I played some pretty strange weddings. I don't usually do weddings, but I'll have friends ask me sometimes, and I'm like, all right, I'll do it for you. They're like, would you mind swinging from this and just playing over us while we? I'm like, all right. All right, I'm dressed as an angel.
There you go.
Some strange requests.
Oh yeah, you know, people. I mean, they want to create their
Beautiful moment.
Yeah, their moments. So I mean, if you're down for it, then everything should be fine. You know.
Yeah, you should at least try, right? These things, the crazy things. So, but yeah, I probably got off topic from growing up. But I grew up around music, loving music. My parents owned a furniture store locally, and it was a great playground because when I got old enough to be in a band, 14, 15, I was allowed to use the back room as a practice room, which was great. And I found out what it was like to be in a band.
Wow.
Which is
What was the name of the band?
sympathy.
Sympathy.
Sympathy. You know, I think the world could use a little more sympathy. I still think that, but I love that album, or I love that name, and it was. I think we tried to keep it together from 15 to. I was in college, so probably 20 or so, and it just people grow up, and
Yeah.
you've got so many different paths that people are taking that it's hard to stay together.
Yeah.
But
Did you guys ever record?
we did some recordings. Yeah, some of them were, and some of them are all right. They're okay, but I love having. It's like having a living snapshot, like a photo of what we were back then. So
That's great. Did you do any local gigs around town?
oh my goodness, yeah. My first gig was over in Dardanelle, a little place called Shades. I think it's the Boys and Girls Club now. I think it's what they turned it into. And Shades was just. We just thought we would, wow.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember driving to one of my first gigs in Clarksville, and we just thought, wow, this is so far away. This is taking forever to get to this gig. We're so big time. And someone had set it up. It was some kind of like a girls' state or some kind of girls thing. So it was all girls, and we were 16, 17-year-old guys. And we came out on stage, and there were 400 screaming girls, and we were like, "This is the best gig we could ever play." So nervous. I was so nervous. Yeah,
I'm sure. You know, but I like that energy when there's a crowd, there's music, and you're viving. It's just like it's an unexplained thing. You know?
Right. We performed at the Old Bank. Me and the band did this last. It's Saturday. And it was
The original guys.
No, I wish.
or
I'd
with
love
the
to get
band?
back together with those guys. No, the band I have now, phenomenal. Joshua Cannon, do you know Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah, love that dude. So talented. I mean, he's got a great voice. He's a great songwriter. And then Ben Smith, I call him the Ben Smith. He's drummer extraordinaire, but he's also a songwriter. Beautiful voice, beautiful guitar. Jason Jones, beautiful voice, plays bass guitar. It surprises me, and maybe you're finding this too, how many people around here are genuinely talented.
Yes. Definitely. There's a lot of talent in town. A lot. You know, and we got to do the normal things, right? Work, do the things we need to do. But I mean,
Right.
if we take a little time to just do what we really love, then I think we'll polish a couple diamonds in the rough.
Yeah. I love it. I love to watch it too because it surprises me. A friend of mine, another musician who's a pastor at Fellowship of Christians for years and now City Church. He's a senior founding pastor, Wayne Drain, and he's had an incredible musical journey over the years. And he keeps saying the same thing: is this place seems to birth really good musicians, and I would pit some of our musicians up against anybody who's made it to the mainstream.
Every band I've seen, like at the local restaurants around here, they've been really good.
Yeah.
Locals, and I mean, I've seen some folk music.
Yeah.
I've seen a little bit of everything, and I mean, there is a lot of talent out there, and I'm glad to be part of it and be surrounded by it.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
So you guys made this band.
Right.
And you guys in your 20s. So did you continue after you guys broke up, or how has the journey been for you?
So it really, if I'm really honest with you, I feel like I was the least talented person in the band with the biggest ego. I mean, I'm being 100% honest with you, and I'm to my shame, but the band finally was just like, yeah, we don't like. There are two people left, and they're like, we don't really want to play with you anymore. And so I was devastated. And so I went and I bought a piano, and I had to be about 20 years old at this point. And I just lived inside a basement and stayed on top of the piano. I learned recording tools, and I just lived inside this bubble for about 2 years and produced some stuff that was solo. And then I came back out. I started playing. At first, I was just playing as my name, Robb McCormick. And I went to this place, this little Irish pub about an hour away, and somebody it was a bartender, and I was setting up, getting ready to play, and someone called on the phone. He was as far away from me as you are, and he picked up the phone, and he listened, and he said, "Who's playing tonight?" And he looked at me, he's like, "Some guy named Rob." And I was like, I really like that. I really like. So I just started calling myself Some Guy Named Rob, and it was a joke. And now, 27 years later, that's been my full-time job.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just funny. Even now, people are like, I almost got into a fight because of your name, man. Someone was called up and said, "Who's playing tonight?" Some guy.
There you go. Yeah, that's pretty unique. And like it just rolls off the tongue. Some guy named Rob.
Yeah.
Some guy named Rob.
Well, it stands out too because when I went to some of these festivals that I play, you're like Jack, Joe Benheimer, and Cindy Klassenschwau, and yeah. But some guy named Rob.
That's easy.
I don't know what that guy is, but I'm gonna find out. So yeah.
No, that's great. So then you went solo, and then you just been doing your own thing ever since.
Yeah. I quit. I was working 4 jobs, and I was making a lot of money, and I was getting to that age in my early 20s where I thought to myself, what do I want to do? Because if I don't start doing it now, then I'm not gonna do it. I mean, it came to that head, and I thought, okay. So one day I quit all 4 of my jobs, and that was a terrible mistake. If anyone's listening, don't quit all 4 of your jobs.
Until you know.
Yeah, that's really dumb. Don't let Uncle some guy tell you, don't do it. But I did, and it kind of forced me into a desperation mode. So I ended up performing anywhere, everywhere, all the time, and I could. And that was like panic mode for the first few years of what I was doing. But it also when you're hungry, then you find ways to work and make it work. So
now, and are you performing your own songs at this point? I was doing covers too.
I was writing, but probably it was about a 50-50 split. Performing originals and cover songs, and I would perform covers of songs and people that I liked. And here's the frustrating part about my journey is I live in this beautiful Arkansas community, but for years and years, the only music, well, here's a joke. We like both kinds of music around here, country and Western. And I don't play country. I don't play Western music. I don't have anything against it. Well, that's not true. I do. There's a lot of dumb music out there that was written just to be, get people to do whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think of music as sacred, so I think it's made me a music snob. So I won't say all music is good music. There's some music that's just rubbish, and it's garbage, and people should not listen to it. Yeah, but I write music I care about, and I write music that means something to me, and if I share it, it's because I want people to, to really dig in. Even my stupid stuff, because I've got stupid songs too, plenty of stupid songs, but they come from a heart that is true. I know I've known a lot of writers over the years. I had a lot of friends that moved to Nashville back in the '90s and the 2000s to make it big, and a lot of the things that they've said was it's just five dudes sitting in a room and they start just writing a song that's very generic so that it'll get on the radio. And that's not appealing to me. So
I think what's his name, Rick Rubin
I love Rick
write
Rubin.
music that you like without thinking about anything else.
That's
Just,
it.
if you like it, that means someone's gonna like it.
Absolutely. I love Rick Rubin. I didn't know much about him until he started doing the Johnny Cash American recordings, and that was late '90s, I think. Or was it mid '90s? It was mid '90s actually. The first one came out, and I remember in interviews saying that he went to Johnny, and Johnny was like, "Well, what are you gonna do for me? Nobody else is." He's like, "I'm gonna put you in a room with a guitar." He's like, I've been wanting to do that for years. He's like, they kept telling me I had to put the strings and the this and then the horns and all that. And Rick, just listened to those. I think there were 5, maybe 6 albums that he did the American recordings with Johnny Cash, and they're so poignant. I mean, they just captured. I remember standing. We used to have a Hastings store in Russellville. I don't. It was a store for music and video. And I was standing in Hastings, and I was shopping in the video section, and I heard this song, Johnny Cash, "Hurt," and it's actually a 9 Inch Nails song by Trent Reznor, but Johnny had taken it because Rick Rubin's like, "I think you would be great on this song," and I'm sitting there and I listened to the production and I'm hearing this piano, and I've banged a piano that hard before, like you're not supposed to, and no sane producer would ever say, "Yeah, that sounds great, keep beating the crap out of that piano," and I was like, who would do that? Who breaks a rule like that? It's just like an unspoken rule. And I looked up, and it was the video for "The Hurt," which is also a very powerful video. And I was standing there in the middle of Hastings by the time that song was over, with just tears streaming down my face. Wow. And I was like, I mean, it was a transcendental experience, and that's what I want. I want to move people with music. I want them to actually give themselves to it.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, having music that really connects, I know there's a lot of like commercial stuff out there, stuff that's like meant to sell and like, but it's, I mean, I'm sure you can tell, I can tell, like, this is just a generic, cereal box, whatever,
Right. No, I get so frustrated with those things. I think it's because I'm older and I'm less tolerant and less patient for those things now. But if it's a really bad music, I've walked out of restaurants.
No, really?
Yeah, I was just like, no, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pay to hear this kind of music while I'm eating food, because I'm a snob. Yeah. No, but I mean, it's not a. The frustration though that I was speaking about is I tend to write sometimes indie rock songs, sometimes Americana, folk, soft songs, and then sometimes I write punk songs. And I ran into somebody yesterday, and she said, "I like some of your songs," and I was like, "Good." I mean, I don't want someone to like, all of my stuff. I think, you've heard that saying, "You can be the best cup of tea in the world. There's still somebody out there that doesn't like tea."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that the people that like what I do find me. That's my hope, that they find me. And the people that don't like what I do, that's okay too.
Yeah.
That's an emotion.
I mean, and it's good to be diverse because you'll have a group of people that like, let's say, your old stuff. Some people like the new stuff or the experimental stuff. Yeah. I mean, there's songs that I've written, and I don't like the song, but somebody will come up to me, "Man, this is the best song I've ever heard," and I'm like, Well, I mean, I don't tell him I didn't
Right.
like it, but
Really? I don't like that one.
really, I thought my voice was like too like soft. I should have been gone hard. But I mean, at least me, I criticize myself. Me, I don't listen to my music. I'll listen to my music maybe once a year just to kind of
I get that.
remember.
Yeah, I get
But
that.
it's not like I'm gonna put it every
On
day.
repeat,
I just
yeah.
record it and let it be.
Well, I think that's the beautiful thing about a recording is once you put it out there, it doesn't belong to you anymore. I've had people. One of the strangest things I wrote this song called "Lord, It Feels Like I'm Running Out of Time," and that was off my first album. And this guy came up to me. It was my friend Ben and I were in the department store, and he came up. He's like, "Are you Rob? Some guy named Rob?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Listen, do you remember that wreck out on Highway 7 last year?" And I was like, "Yeah," because I remember it because 3 people died.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I do remember that. That was serious." And this guy in the middle of this department store, he lifts up his shirt and he looks like he has been carved to pieces and put back together. And he says, "Me and your CD are the only thing that survived that wreck."
Wow.
And he said, "This, I just want to let you know that like that song, the album, but especially that song, Lord, It Feels Like I'm Running Out of Time, was part of my healing process." And I was like, it reminded me, and I hope it reminds you as a musician who puts stuff out there and all of us that when we do create that art, we also have a responsibility to remember that this is going to go into the ears of children. It's going to go into the ears of adults. It's going to go into the ears of people who are suffering, who are hurting. And I really think that, to me, that there's a mandate that comes with that says you have to honor the gift that's been given you.
Yeah, no, I think that's great that you mentioned that the story with the gentleman. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, he was able to overcome that tragic moment, or at least with his healing journey.
Right.
And what you say, other people are going to listen to this, because and I don't mean to talk too much about my music career, but there was a point where like it was a little trendy that we can push the limit, especially because I also started in the Christian world, and then we became like heavy metal, and we would do like secular and Christian events, and there became a moment where it was trendy, like for us to express ourselves, we were going to say a curse word in one of the parts.
Right.
And I remember some of the guys, "Hey, it's okay to say," and then I'm like, I'm not going to do it because one day I'm going to have kids, and they're going to listen to my music.
That's exactly it. I've been in the studio and had that exact same conversation. Thankfully, though, I was around because I was going to do it. I was all like, "Yeah, this is how I wrote it." That's gonna do.
Yeah.
But the guy who I was recording with, his name is Chris Kaler. He's like, "Just think about it. Just think about it," because, and this is before I had children too.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you start thinking about that and thinking, wow, yeah, do I want to give my kids the permission to say this, or will I still feel this way 10, 15 years from now? And so I think that was really, and of course I changed it and no one cared.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like for me, it was just, I could say I'm proud that I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have bugged me.
Yeah.
And so I just like,
because you have to hear that.
I mean, if you listen to my songs, I mean, we're pretty all scream, crazy, pre-choruses and like bridges. And I was just like, it's already a cool song. I do not need to have a curse word in there, you know? And so
that's right.
I mean, because our music has always been like reflect on things. You know, we have like a song about abortion. We have a song about depression and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I feel proud that I didn't.
That's good, man.
Do anything saying it.
That's good.
First. And I was thinking about kids. I'm like, man, my kids are gonna listen. What are they gonna think about me? And it might have been cool at the moment, but all these years later, I would be regretting it. So I was like, I don't want to have that in my mind, you know?
Yeah, and you think about artists like Prince, who in his younger years, he was just incredibly, just call it obscene. He was very forthright with his sexuality. And as he got older, he's like, I don't curse anymore in my songs. And he said, because everybody does. He's like, there's nothing special about it. And moreover, I think he grew closer to God, and his music started reflecting that too. So I think that was good. I hated to lose Prince.
Yeah, even with tattoos, like it's not everybody has them now, so it's like it's not
right.
cool.
Back in the day, you had a tattoo. You were probably a sailor or in a gang, and now you're a mother of 3.
Yeah.
That's right. And you have a Suburban.
So yeah, there you go.
Shout out to my mothers of 3, Suburban.
right,
I
man.
love your little tats.
Wow, man. So I mean, you got your guitar, man. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
is there a tune you want to play? Maybe one of your originals or a cover? I mean,
I mean,
anything that you feel. I always people are watching, and I'm always trying to tell people like, hey, if you're having a bad day, like, just whatever we put out from here, I hope it encourages you or whatnot. So I mean, whatever you're feeling, just
man, I've got so many songs, and I'm trying to think what would be a good one to perform for you guys.
think about it. No
Yeah.
rush. I mean, we just
Okay.
just when it comes to you, we can do it.
That sounds
but
good.
I think it's great that you have this gnarly guitar. Tell us, there has a lot of
Well, so now
words there.
tattoos, I can never decide on tattoos because I know myself well enough to know I would just change and I'd want to erase it and do it again.
Yeah.
So I put this in permanent marker, and it always comes off. So I can always do it again. I can always change different styles.
And you wrote all these messages on the guitar?
Yeah. So a lot of these are song titles, and some of them are phrases like. I have a song called Time Is Not Your Friend. It says, time, she starts off curious, claiming she's your friend. What's this? Time, she starts off cautious. I can't read it upside down.
Let me see.
Time, she starts off cautious, claiming she's your friend.
No, time she won't regret or repent.
Oh, repent. Yeah, time, she'll always make you change, but she won't give back a cent. Yeah. Yeah, so little things that have caught me. The song was people only hear what they want to hear. People only repeat what they heard. Like when I wrote that, I felt like that was a transcendental statement.
Yeah.
You know how it is? Because what I've noticed, especially with social media, is you'll put something out there and you'll be like, I really think the color green is nice. And suddenly somebody will be like, how dare you say green when you know there's a red out there? I mean, and red is the best. How could you say that about green? And then somebody else pipes in, both of you suck because you didn't say blue.
Yeah.
It's just this terrible. I always call it social media is a great place to introduce an idea, and it is the worst place in the world to discuss it.
Apart.
To discuss it, you can't discuss that because people will internalize it, and that's what that line's about. People only hear what they want to hear. And then people only repeat what they heard. So you can say, it's like getting a text from somebody.
Yeah.
You get a text, and it's all in how you interpret the text. Like, did my wife just text me, hey, I love you, what's for dinner? Or did she text me, hey, I love you, what's for dinner? Like, where's the inflection? Like, am I in trouble here? What's going on? No. So I always learned like social media's taught me, read everything with love. Like, just pretend that it was written by somebody that is sweet and they're trying to say the right thing.
That's a good advice
It's
right there.
not easy.
Especially with that virtual world out
I
there.
hate you, Rob, but you suck. I'm sure they meant it nice.
Yeah, I hate you, Rob, but you suck.
It's like, hey, you, Rob, you suck.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
So what do you have upcoming right now? Is there any shows coming up?
So on my website, it's you can just Google.
Yeah, where can people find you, your music?
The easiest way is just Google some guy named Rob with 2 B's, and you'll find me. My website is real simple, SGN, like some guy named, and then ROBB.com.
Okay.
I'm on all the socials. Well, I say that's not true. There's so many socials now. I don't know. Excuse me. It's that kombucha. You can find me on all the streaming platforms, the music. So I had something happen to me this last June. It was unexpected. I was traveling. I was performing in Colorado, and I was staying up. I stayed up late because I was just tired after the show, and I found this funny video. And I had recorded this song for my last album. The album was called The Adventures of Indie Boy, and the song was called Death by Panda. And the reason I wrote this song was because my wife was on the couch. This is during the pandemic, and she started giggling. I'm like, what are you doing over there? And she's like, nothing. I'm just looking at funny videos. And she goes by. She keeps on giggling and laughing. I'm like, what kind of videos? I mean, surely she's looking at pictures of me because she's so in love with me. But no, she said panda videos, and she just kept on. I'm like, okay, so I got that husbandly jealousy. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna start lying to her. I'm like, pandas are actually really dangerous. Did you know that? And she's like, no, they're not. She's like, 'cause she's actually incredibly smart.
Uh-huh.
So naturally, the only way I can try to combat her being so intelligent is to lie to her
Yeah.
blatantly. And I'm like, actually, they can shoot lasers from their eyes. And I just start making up all these facts about pandas. They're not facts, but all these lies about pandas. And the next thing I know, I go over to my guitar and I grab it and I'm like, da 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 da. So I write this song. It's a silly song, and um, I put it on my album. It's in the last quadrant of the album, so I don't think anyone's really going to hear it. But I'm in Colorado. I'm finished with the show, and I see this funny panda video. I'm like, oh, I'm going to share that, and I'm going to put my song on it. I wake up and there's like 100,000 likes on it, and I was all like, wow, that's really cool, you know. And then I go about my day, and it's like, oh, there's 200,000. Oh, there's 300,000.
Wow.
Oh, there's a million. Oh, there's 10 million. There's 20 million. And it's just kept going. I was like, the things that you think are going to be, you know, the things that I've worked a long time on and thought this is going to be fruitful. And then Death by Panda comes out. So it's probably one of my top streamed songs. And it makes people happy. You know?
I'm gonna go check it out.
You
After
got
this.
to, right? It's ridiculous.
Death by Panda.
Death by
Robb
Panda, yeah.
McCormick. Now, is it on the streaming platforms? Is just
Yeah.
some guy named Rob, or your
Yeah,
name
just some
too?
guy named Rob. Yeah. Everything is under some guy named Rob now. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I also like how you go to schools and you bring some joy to the kids.
Oh, man.
I mean,
I love that.
I found out about you through my daughters.
Really?
There was a cool guy with a guitar, Dad. So I actually gave him the stickers you gave me.
Oh,
They
good,
were all
good.
happy.
Awesome. Awesome.
So I think that's great, you know, because that you go out there to these places because you just don't know what the situation is back home
Yeah.
with some of the kids.
Yeah.
And having you there can, you know, at least put some kind of seed in them or impact their lives for the moment or forever, you know?
I love it. Well, you know, the thing that inspired me when I was a kid, there was this young man who was just a couple years older than me. I think maybe 4 or 5 years older than me. And his mom was my teacher. And he came in and he sang a song right in the middle of everybody. I remember it vividly. I don't know why. Some things just stand out. I was probably in 3rd, 4th grade, maybe 2nd or 3rd grade. And his name, I got to tell you about this guy because he went on. His name's Paul Vitale. And he went on to be a empowering life coach that worked with all these teams, the Razorbacks and all these big teams, like out of state. And he's just a super guy. And he just passed away maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It was heartbreaking because he's the guy, just like, I want this guy to live to be 100 years old because he's so inspiring everywhere he went. But even as a kid, he inspired me. I thought to myself, I think I can do that, you know? And so I hope by going into these elementary schools, I hope that I am planting seeds, you know? And I go in usually around Christmas time, especially I try to hit around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Because I love Christmas carols, and I love
it's the joy, it's the ambience. It's like, it's
absolutely
beautiful.
And you can say, hey, God loves you, and you can say, you know, you can sing these beautiful songs, and some of them are silly, and some of them are da 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 da, you know, and some of them are serious, sweet little songs, Silent Night and Away in a Manger, Little Drummer Boy. Those songs they're poignant. They speak beyond just the music. So I've really loved doing that. I'm so grateful to Russell School District for allowing me to come in and be a part of their things. Yeah, it's very special.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm
yeah.
telling you, it's just like it can just change moods. It can brighten someone's day. Music to me is just incredible.
Yeah.
Just like it did to me when I was young, you know.
Right. I feel, how many people have you heard, you know, music saved me at one point?
Yeah.
You know, at one point somebody's song spoke to them in so powerful a way it changed their life. And that's back to that universal music.
Yeah.
You know, I think that when God made music, well, however that works, you know, how I think some people say he spoke the world into existence. Some people say he sang the world into existence, you know, and I think it's really interesting. We're studying these things now about vibrations and about how everything, like this piece of wood or this wood or these strings, everything is vibrating on a certain frequency. and they're going as far as to destroying cancer cells with vibrations
Yeah, I heard about that.
that don't hurt the normal cells. And it's like maybe we're getting close to understanding a little more about how God sewed us all together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still have a long way to go, but
Yeah.
it's neat.
Hey, but there's a start, so we're
Right.
you know.
So maybe it's not just only the universal language. Maybe it's the cure. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the key that's helping us unlock these mysteries. So
That's true. That's true. So have you thought of the song?
man, I've written thousands of songs. I mean, so
Yeah,
if
whatever you think
if I can
is-
remember one of them, then I'll be yeah. Let's do. I'm gonna give you guys a choice. You guys will probably you need to hear the original Death by Panda. 'Cause
Yeah.
If I do it here,
Yeah, let's
it's
do it.
it's not gonna be nearly as good because I get the full band thing going on the recording. But I could do a song. You guys want a sad song, happy song? You want to
I
keep
would
it
say
upbeat?
happy.
Keep it upbeat.
Happy, like a happy song.
Okay, I've got another song I wrote.
Unless you want to do sad and then get us happy. It's up to
I
you.
could do both of those. Yeah, whatever you guys want. I tell you, let me do two songs. One's called "Something Beautiful This Way Comes." I had a friend. He found out in a bad way that his wife was leaving him, and it was just ouch. And so that was the catalyst that started this song. And I wanted to speak not just to him, but to everybody who's got that news, everybody who's found out that, you know, that the love of their life is not the love of their life. And so I wrote this song and then, you know, sent it to him. And years later, he found that there was a girl in far away, and she had gone through the exact same thing. And when they found each other, the love and the appreciation and the nurturing that they had was it was just beautiful, you know, because when you've had something and you've lost it,
Yeah.
you know, you get it back. So I wanted to encourage people. And then years later, my dad uses this song. My mom and dad were married for 40 years, and my mom passed away, and that was about 17 years ago now. And so about 10 years after her death, he met a very sweet lady, and he used this song as their he used my song as their wedding song. So I'll play you this one. It's called "Something Beautiful This Way Comes." All right, so let me. And if you like this, you can find it streaming everywhere. Now, you know what I did when I scheduled this? I scheduled a little early in the morning, so I don't know. My voice, we'll see what happens, right? I see you driving in the rain, but your wipers won't work. Everyone you know has been kicked around and hurt. It's like you're sipping on champagne, but you're married to a jerk. Something beautiful this way comes. See, the road ahead is blocked, but that's where you set your sights. And everywhere cops turning on the flashing lights. Yeah, the sirens are screaming. You're sailing to the night. Or something beautiful this way comes. Where the highway is winding, the road turns south. I see a little smile come from the corner of your mouth. You wait for a bit, but the good Lord ain't done. No, but someday, boy, something beautiful will come. Someday, girl, something beautiful will come. see you calling on the phone. And all your numbers hit the floor. You can't find all the pieces of your life here anymore. It's like you're standing on a wave while you're searching for the shore. Or something beautiful this way comes. Well, the highway is winding, the road turns south. I see a little smile come from the corner of your mouth. You wait for a bit, but the good Lord ain't done. No, but someday, boy, something beautiful will come. Someday, girl, something beautiful will come. Well, the highway is winding, the road turns south. I see a little smile come from the corner of your mouth. You wait for a bit, but the good Lord ain't done. No, but someday, boy, something beautiful will come. Someday, girl, something beautiful will come. Someday soon, something beautiful will come. Someday soon. Thank you, Fritz.
Amazing, man.
Thanks, dude.
Like, we're honored to have you here in the studio.
I'm blessed to be here. Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks for having me. Well, that's, yeah, so I love that. I hope that people, when they hear that, I hope they're like, you know, well, wait a second. Stick around. You know, like, stick around. That's the thing is, I know a lot of people suffer with depression, and I know a lot of people suffer with anxiety, and sometimes that leads to dark places and dark solutions, wrong solutions.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think I want people to just wait. You know, like that concept. It's always darkest just before the dawn.
Mm-hmm.
That's really true. You know, I woke up this morning actually accidentally at 5 something, and it was just so dark. You know, but you just wait, just right around the corner. Here comes some sunshine. Just something beautiful this way will come. So, yeah,
that's a great message.
Thanks,
man.
brother.
Yeah, man. Cool, man. I mean, if you guys are listening, or if you guys want to go look for this song, what was the name of the song again?
Something beautiful this way comes.
Something beautiful this way comes.
Yeah.
By some guy named Rob. So go out there to is iTunes still a thing? That's Apple now, right?
Yeah, no, that's great.
Apple Music, Spotify, or whatnot.
Yeah, if you want to buy it, then you can even go to my website and buy it directly from me. Yeah. That's
cool, man. Cool.
Let's see. So we're looking for a funny song now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, although that song was very moving, I mean,
Thank you.
I mean, it might be a sad situation, but it was still like a great
Awesome
song, you know.
So let's see. For a funny song, I could do "Death by Panda," or
now I want to hear it.
You want to hear it
like
now.
the whole story and
All right,
everything.
man. I guess we got to. Okay. Let me think. I got to think of the first line. That's the trick. Let's see. So I remember I went over to my guitar and I was like. I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. That's the anger, the husband jealousy and rage and fury. I'm pouring it all into my guitar. Pandas can read your... No, it's not the first line. Hold on. I brought my thing, but I'm trying not to cheat. The thing, I had a great songwriter tell me, he wrote for Leanne Rimes and some of those people back in the 90s. He said, if you can remember all your song lyrics, you haven't written enough songs.
There you go.
I was like, okay, all right. I don't feel so bad. Yeah. Let's see. Pandas. What lies did I tell my sweet wife? Pandas. I'm gonna have to.
No, go ahead, man. Don't worry about it.
You guys toss out some dog ear books and retro. Yeah, shout out to those guys.
Yeah, hey man, while Rob is looking for some lyrics here, which is totally fine. Hey, this podcast is brought to you guys by Dog Ear Books and Retro Roast, where you can read a book and drink some coffee. I wonder if that could become a thing. Maybe Emily will be like, I like that
should
you
be
know?
a thing.
And also Diamond Ridge Construction. You need to do some remodeling, get a roof inspection. By the way, no cost to you for that evaluation. So go Google Diamond Ridge Construction and Dog Ear Books and Retro Roast. Let them know you heard us talking about them here on Eleva, and let us know how that went.
My daughter is an avid coffee drinker. Yeah, like her mother. I'm not much into coffee and stuff, but she's constantly at dog ear and retro roast. So, all right,
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Sure, she's got an account there.
Yeah.
Here's Death by Panda. Pandas will melt your face, turn your bones to paste, destroy the human race. It's on their things to do list. Pandas can read your mind, shoot lasers from their eyes. There's no place to hide. They're reading all your emails. Well, look out! Death by Panda. Death by Panda. Death by Panda. It's not just black and white. A panda will blow your mind and kick your behind. It's pandemonium. A world domination is their goal, and they'll devour your mortal soul, eat you up like an egg roll. You better say your prayers and go. Look out! Death by Panda. Death by Panda. Death by Panda. They want you to think they're cute and cuddly. Ooh, wow. Their intentions are so ugly. Ooh, wow. It's such an embarrassment. You wonder where you went when they wrap you up in bamboo and eat you like a taco. Look out! Pandas, they don't fight fair. They'll use your toothbrush to comb your hair. You know, this is a lot of fun to write. Yeah. Pandas, they don't fight fair. They'll use your toothbrush to comb their hair, then stretch out your underwear. They're a deceptive kind of bear. Ooh, look out! Death by Panda. Death by Panda.
Death by Panda. Death by Panda. Awesome, yeah. Oh, I'm sure that was really fun to write, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to write. And I remember, well, I did some research, and I found out when a group of pandas all get together, they're called, you know, like a murder of crows or a gaggle of geese. They're called an embarrassment of pandas. That's real. So when you heard the word embarrassment in there, that was my research.
There you go.
Paying off. So no, it was a lot of fun to write. And I remember when my wife called me one time, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "For a grown man, I'm spending a lot of time recording this song, Death by Panda." But wouldn't you believe it? Like that's the one that people, you know, that's the one that goes around the world. So here's the goal. If we know somebody, and this was not why I wrote it, but those Kung Fu Panda movies, wouldn't that be great for a Kung Fu Panda movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody says, "Rob, I love this, but I'd love to hear Jack Black do it." I'm like, I would too. Like I would. I'm happy to let him take that and make it famous.
I know. If Jack Black is watching, man,
yeah,
hit up some guy named Rob, man.
Hit us up and
it'd be super fun. Yeah. Or maybe even perform it together. You know, I think it's really it'd be really fun to perform it, and even I would like to hear it with the full band and stuff. Yeah. I mean, because I can hear that it came from the heart. You know, yeah. You're not trying to impress anybody. You're just writing it.
I'm trying to impress my wife.
Well, there you go. There you go. As long as she's impressed, that's all that matters.
You know, she. Yeah, we're actually, we're celebrating 22 years this Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
And so you gotta find different ways to impress your wife after 22 years.
Yeah.
You know? Let me tell you things that works: doing the dishes.
Yeah, there you go.
Doing laundry. She's like, "Ooh, that's my man."
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I need to do it more, but when I do it, she is, "Thank you, babe." I'm like, you don't have to say thank you. It's just.
It means a lot to her, though,
yeah,
right?
It does.
That's the secret. Yeah. No,
any advice for 22 years for anybody watching?
You know, it's funny because actually we're about to teach this marriage class again at our church starting Wednesday. It's at City Church, And by the way, if it's for community wide, you don't have to be part of the church or any church. You're welcome to come. It's just some good, helpful tips about how to communicate in marriage. It's about love and respect, and the simple basis of the whole concept, which I do agree with, that women and men receive love differently. For a woman, it's to take care of and to make sure that her emotional needs are met and that her needs are met. And for a man, we receive love as honor. Whenever and think about this as men, because in here in the studio we're men. Think about it, how whenever your wife says something to you like, you did so good today, that was an amazing podcast, or does that not light something up inside you?
Definitely.
Yeah. And so I think, and whereas if she's like, oh, here, I made you this, I knitted this scarf for you, you're like, well, thank you, that's nice, but men receive love in a way that, and that's just how we're built, how we're wired. So I would say, for 22 years, you better have a sense of humor, right? Mm-hmm. You better be able to laugh, and you better be able to forgive, because there's going to be times when I come home and I'm in a terrible mood. I shouldn't be, but I am. She comes home, terrible mood, something like that, and we come together, and I keep remembering that it's not, I love the days whenever I wake up and I'm like, it's my best friend, mm-hmm. There's a baseline of truth. And the baseline is, I married my best friend, still my best friend, and there's nobody else in the world I want to tell all these successes to, like that. Yeah. Anytime something exciting happens, it's like, it's not real unless I get to tell her about it, and that's, I don't know if that helped or answered the question, but it's the truth.
No, it comes from deep in there. So well, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, a message to people watching, before we close this up, and you're in town, if they want to book you or whatnot, where can they find you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I do all kinds of performances. I do like you said before, corporate events. I've done those, and festivals and private parties, and I try not to perform publicly too much in Russellville anymore, because I don't want to burn out my audience, because so I'm performing around here from time to time, but usually not more than maybe 3 times a year, because it's
I get it.
Yeah, but I love my hometown. I love Russellville. I love this community. I'm grateful to be yes. When you're in high school, when I was in high school, everybody was like, I got to get out of this town. I got to leave. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people did, and I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. I tell my kids, I'm like, go find out what's out there, But you may find that you got something special, right here, Because you go play in New York City, and you're stepping over people who are just homeless and addicted, mm-hmm. and you're like, well, this isn't like home, Or you go to performed in Las Vegas last year, and it's like, I don't want to live here. Yeah. It's okay to come but when you really see parts of the town, and you're just like, it makes me really miss home. Yeah. Yeah. So, exactly. Yeah. Well, cool. Hey, thank you guys for.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming, man. You really, you rocked out that. That last song, "Death by a Panda," was pretty.
Add it to your playlist.
I'm gonna show it to my kids when I pick them up from school.
Yeah, tell them the story and let them have fun with it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to talk to my daughters. They just if I say, how was your day, they'll say good. If I say, what's something that stood out to you today at school, and boom, they just like, oh we learned this new website where people get fed rice if you play a game or something. I'm like, what the heck? So that was my conversation with my youngest yesterday. So
isn't it neat, especially when you get near those teenage years, whenever you're like, you check that, it's like, no, nothing, but you finally, there's something, you pull a thread, and then suddenly they're like, wow, they open up and start talking. I love that, man.
I enjoy it now. Yeah, right now, I would guess with my son, the times I talk to him is when we're in the car alone. Yeah. And he just starts talking about music and how this and that, and I'm just listening, Yeah. Because if you try to force it, hey, sometimes it doesn't work out,
That's true.
So I just listen.
Yeah.
I just listen. But, Well, thanks, Rob, for coming out
Thanks,
here
Obi.
today. And I know that we'll see each other again. And thanks for just being open to come out and sharing your story here and
Thank you, bro.
jamming out with us. I'm really happy when musicians are here because I'm a musician. Michael's a musician.
Right.
The last time we had Tevin out here with the keyboard.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we'll be experimenting more with doing some live. I know we've talked about maybe some kind of like a tiny desk or like just like a little.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah.
So maybe we'll.
Yeah, well, if you ever need music, I have a lot of songs. You'll run out of shows before I run out of songs.
There you go.
Which I hope you don't run out of shows. But
Yeah.
yeah. No. Well, thanks again.
Sounds good, man. Well,
Thanks,
thank
man.
you for coming out, brother. Yeah. All right, guys. You heard it here. Mr. What am I saying? Mr. Some guy named Rob out here performing with us. And thank you for watching. And maybe Rob will just, end us with a little tune or something. You know,
Sure,
just some background music. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.